Hi, everyone. If you feel trapped in a cycle of familiar failure, financial stagnation, or predictable sadness, I have a difficult truth for you. Your identity is a chemical addiction. The person you call you, the collection of repetitive thoughts, actions, and reactions, is simply a highly efficient biological program that your body has learned to run. Your body is addicted to the specific survival chemistry this program produces. Dr. Joe Dispenza's work shows us that you are not consciously choosing to be anxious or angry. Your body is craving the familiar hormones of fear and inadequacy because it mistakes chemical predictability for safety. To change your life, you cannot simply try to act differently. You must execute a complete, intentional biological death of the old self. This is the only way to make room for the energetic potential of your future self. In this video, we will break down the precise 4-step neurobiological protocol required to sever the chemical tether to your past, starve the old identity, and successfully install the neural hardware of your new destiny. This is the process of breaking the habit of being you. If you are serious about applying the science of transformation to change your life from the inside out, subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell. Let's build a community dedicated to becoming the conscious creators of our reality. The foundational work that details this entire process of transformation is Dr. Joe Dispenza's revolutionary book, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. This is the manual for re-engineering your brain and body. I highly recommend you get your copy today. The link is in the first pinned comment. 1. The biological cage. The identity is chemistry. Before we can begin the protocol to fire your old self, we must first define precisely what that old self is, not philosophically, but biologically and chemically. The reason change is so difficult is because the old you is not merely a set of bad habits. It is a fixed neural network and a powerful chemical identity to which your body has become profoundly addicted. Your current personality, your entire way of thinking, feeling, and acting is fundamentally rooted in the survival mechanisms of your past experiences. Every single thought you think, every memory you revisit, and every emotion you feel is a specific chemical transaction happening inside your body. The average person thinks between 60,000 and 70,000 thoughts per day, and a staggering 90% of those are the exact same thoughts they had the day before. When you repeat a thought, for example, "I am not good enough," or "this never works out for me," you are activating a specific cluster of neurons in your brain. Neurons that fire together, wire together. This principle, known as Hebb's law, means that the repeated thought establishes a strong, fixed neural network. This network is the hardware of the old self. It is the entrenched circuitry of your limitations and your personality. The problem is that these fixed neural patterns, which define who you think you are constantly triggering a specific emotional response in your body. When you think the repetitive thoughts of inadequacy, your brain signals the body to match that thought with an equally repetitive survival emotion, the feeling of inadequacy, stress, or fear. This is where the chemical addiction takes hold, creating the biological cage. The body, through its sophisticated endocrine system, manufactures specific chemical messengers called neuropeptides in response to the emotions you feel. For example, when you feel fear or anxiety, your body generates adrenaline and cortisol. When you feel shame, it generates a different profile of peptides. These chemicals are the language of your emotions, and they are released into your bloodstream, traveling instantly to every single cell in your body. On the outside of every one of your cells, there are millions of tiny receptor sites. These are like mailboxes designed to receive specific neuropeptides. When the emotion is chronic, when you feel inadequate every day for 10 years, your cells become perpetually saturated with the neuropeptides corresponding to inadequacy. The cell, in its desire for homeostasis, actually starts to change its structure. It will grow more receptor sites for the familiar neuropeptides of inadequacy and fewer receptor sites for high-frequency chemicals like oxytocin or joy. The cell becomes biologically conditioned to live in a state of chronic, low-grade stress and suffering. This cellular adaptation is the physical manifestation of the old self. Your body is now chemically optimized for your pain. The deepest, most powerful function of the old self is to maintain this chemical equilibrium. The body now subconsciously expects its daily dose of fear, anger, or victimization chemicals. It is addicted to the predictable, known chemistry of its identity. If, for some reason, the external environment stops providing a reason for you to feel angry, if your partner suddenly becomes kind or your boss gives you a compliment, your body experiences a state of chemical withdrawal. The cells scream for their fix. They send signals up the spinal cord to the emotional brain, which then instructs the neocortex to generate a thought that will produce the familiar chemical. You suddenly find yourself inexplicably worried, anxious, or picking a fight, not because the environment demanded it, but because your body demanded the chemical fix. This is the ultimate trap. Your body is running your mind. The repetitive thoughts, which you believe are your conscious personality, are often just the brain's way of catering to the body's chemical craving for the past. You are not thinking the thoughts. The body is compelling the thoughts to maintain the chemical status quo. This is the habit of being you. It is an unconscious loop where a thought fires a neural network, the network creates an emotion, chemistry, the chemistry signals the body demands the chemistry, the body compels the brain to repeat the initial thought. This biological cage is why you cannot change your life simply by affirming something new. You can sit down and affirm, "I am confident and successful." This is an electrical thought in your neocortex, but your body, conditioned to receive the chemistry of "I am inadequate," registers the affirmation as a lie. It rejects the new signal, triggering an immediate feeling of doubt or unworthiness, the familiar chemical fix it craves. The powerful magnetic signal of the body's feeling, inadequacy, immediately overpowers the weak electrical signal of the brain's thought, success. The old self wins, and you revert back to the predictable thoughts and actions of the person you were yesterday. To break the habit of being you, you must stop identifying with this chemically addicted body. You must stop letting the emotions and memories of your past dictate your thoughts and, by extension, your future. The process of firing your old self is therefore a process of chemical disarmament and neurological pruning. You must starve the old cellular addiction until the receptors downregulate and the old neural network collapses due to lack of use. This requires a conscious, intentional intervention, a protocol that moves you from the unconscious, automatic program of the past to the conscious, deliberate choice of the future. The old self must be treated as a foreign entity, a biological ghost that is consuming your energy and blocking your potential. Your identity is not who you are. It is simply the record of who you were, chemically recorded in your body's cellular structure. Your job is to become greater than the body's craving, greater than the environment that triggers it, and greater than the time it takes to change. This realization is the foundation upon which we build the four-step protocol. It is the moment you accept that the change you seek is not intellectual, it is biological warfare against your own addiction. We must now learn how to consciously interrupt this loop, creating the powerful moment of disconnection necessary to initiate the chemical death of the past self. This leads us to the critical first two steps of the protocol, where we assert our sovereignty over the automatic machine. 2. The four-step disconnection, the quantum interrupt. The moment of transformation is not when you choose the future, it is when you consciously refuse the past. The first half of the protocol involves establishing sovereignty, the unwavering assertion that your external environment and your past emotions no longer dictate your internal chemical state. You must become the observer of your identity and then the interrupter of the addiction. We now detail the critical, difficult steps of disconnection, the energy withdrawal necessary to create the neurological gap, or the quantum interrupt. Step 1. The moment of truth, catching the loop. The most difficult part of change is becoming aware of the unconscious. The old self operates on autopilot, executing its program without your permission. The first step is about achieving metacognition, the ability to watch yourself think and feel. You must monitor the moment you revert to the predictable pattern of the past. This could be the moment you habitually reach for your phone to check social media out of anxiety, or the moment your body assumes the posture of a victim, slumped shoulders, downward gaze. It is often the moment a familiar toxic thought, "I can't believe I failed again," enters your mind and immediately triggers the corresponding low-frequency feeling, shame, inadequacy, in your body. You must catch the thought before it becomes the chemical, and before the chemical turns into an automatic reaction. The moment you feel the familiar surge of frustration, doubt, or resentment, you must consciously freeze the frame. You stop the physical movement. You stop the mental narrative. In this split-second pause, you use your prefrontal cortex, the CEO of the brain, the seat of conscious choice, to label the emotion you are experiencing. You must declare with clinical detachment exactly what is happening. This is not me. This is the old self-program firing. This is the chemical addiction to my past. My body is craving its fix of cortisol. This act of labeling is profoundly powerful. It separates the subject, you, the observer, from the object, the emotion/thought, the program. As long as you are in the program, you are the victim. The moment you observe the program, you become the sovereign. By observing the pattern without judgment or engagement, you are performing the first act of energy withdrawal. You are withholding your attention, which is your life force, to the old fixed neural network. The moment you cease to energize the old thought, the network begins to prune itself. Neural connections that are not fired consistently start to weaken. This is the moment of truth, the acceptance that the identity you called me is just a memory hooked to a chemical, and that you have the authority to not answer the call. It requires brutal honesty about the specific emotions and thoughts that define the past self. Do not generalize. Identify the specific emotional signature that keeps you bound. The problem, however, is that pausing the thought is not enough because the body is already agitated and demanding the chemical fix. If you pause the thought without a conscious replacement, the body's craving will hijack the mind and pull you back into the loop within seconds. This leads us to the aggressive act of chemical interruption. Step 2, the moment of power, declaring the intention. Once you have identified and frozen the chemical loop in step 1, you must immediately take conscious action to sever the energetic tether. This is the moment of power, and it requires the conscious withdrawal of energy from the old self and the immediate declaration of the new intention. You must tell the emotional brain, the limbic system, a firm, non-negotiable no. This is not a whispered affirmation. This is a declaration of war against the addiction. In this moment, you state your intention to the universe and to your own nervous system. I refuse to feel this way ever again. This emotion, for example, shame, fear, anger, is the past. I am firing the habit of being me right now. The key action here is the energetic disconnection. Visualize your energy, your consciousness, your very life force being forcefully retrieved from the people, places, and events of the past that are associated with the old emotion. Imagine the energy you invested in the grudge, the heartbreak, or the financial loss being physically recalled back into your center. You are calling your spirit back from the timeline of the trauma. This visualization is paramount because it is the brain's way of telling the body the environment is no longer in charge. The threat is gone. We are safe to change. As you pull the energy back, you must simultaneously execute the most crucial maneuver, withdrawing consent. You must consciously withdraw your consent to participate in the feeling of the past. The feeling will remain, the body is physically agitated and demanding the chemical, but you must refuse to indulge the story that justifies the feeling. Do not argue with the feeling, do not judge the feeling, simply observe it and refuse to feed it with your attention. This is the painful, difficult quantum interrupt. It is the neurological void you create when you stop energizing the old program but have not yet installed the new one. This is the point of maximum chemical withdrawal from the old self. The body, deprived of its familiar chemical fix, will immediately panic. It will unleash powerful, overwhelming feelings of anxiety, doubt, fear, and hopelessness, designed to scare your conscious mind into reverting back to the known comfort of the past suffering. This surge of panic is not the truth. It is merely the death throes of the chemical addiction. Dr. Dispenza describes this moment as the river of change. It is the turbulent, terrifying moment where you leave the safety of the old shore, but cannot yet see the new one. Most people quit here. They mistake the withdrawal panic for a fundamental truth about themselves. I must not be strong enough to change, and instantly revert, giving the old self permission to live again. To successfully navigate this moment of power, you must hold the state of disconnection long enough for the chemical tide to turn. You must hold the belief that the feelings of withdrawal are proof that the work is working. Every time you sustain the refusal to react, you are starving the addiction. You are causing the neuropeptide receptors on your cells to physically downregulate and disappear. You are creating the neurological void necessary for the new self to be installed. This sustained moment of non-reaction is the quantum interrupt, the moment you step out of the material world of cause and effect, past dictates future, and into the world of energy, consciousness dictates reality. You are momentarily existing outside of your old identity. However, you cannot linger in this void. The liberated energy must be immediately directed toward the creation of the new self. If the void is not filled, the old program will eventually re-engage to restore the familiar chemical balance. We must now move to the final two steps, the confrontation with the chemical withdrawal and the deliberate grand rehearsal of the future self. 3. The deconditioning phase. The chemical withdrawal. You have successfully executed the quantum interrupt, steps 1 and 2, creating a void where the old self used to reside. This is where the biological battle for your future truly begins. The energy you liberated from the past must now be immediately reinvested into the creation of the future. The old self will launch a fierce counterattack to reclaim its chemical status quo. This phase demands persistence, consciousness, and an unwavering commitment to enduring the pain of withdrawal. Step 3. The void, enduring the chemical withdrawal. The moment you refuse the old sought feeling loop, step 2, the body, deprived of its familiar survival chemistry, cortisol, adrenaline, enters a state of profound panic and discomfort. This is the void, the terrifying, formless space between your known past and your unknown future. Since the body is chemically addicted to the familiar emotional state, even if that state is suffering, it perceives the absence of that chemistry as a threat to survival. The body, acting as the subconscious mind, will flood your system with powerful, overwhelming feelings designed to force you to return to the known. You will experience intense withdrawal symptoms, emotional surges, sudden, irrational spikes of anxiety, profound sadness, uncontrollable anger, or a terrifying sense of emptiness. Physical manifestations, headaches, nausea, restlessness, agitation, and a strong urge to engage in old, self-sabotaging behaviors, like reaching for comfort food, calling an ex, picking an argument. Mental sabotage. The mind will whisper toxic lies. This is too hard. You are broken. You'll never change. You are wasting your time. Just go back to the way it was. At least that was predictable. You must understand this critical biological truth. The voice of sabotage is merely the chemical addiction of the body speaking. It is not the truth of your conscious mind. The pain you feel in the void is proof that the old self is dying. The intensity of the discomfort is directly proportional to the strength of your past addiction. Your task in step 3 is simply to sustain consciousness in the face of chemical chaos. You must hold the observer's authority from step 1 and refuse to react to the feelings. Do not judge the anxiety. Do not feel guilty about the sadness. Simply observe the symptoms, label them as withdrawal, and refuse to feed them the fuel of your attention or the narrative of your story. You must hold the firm belief that every minute spent enduring this discomfort is a minute spent pruning the neural circuits and downregulating the cellular receptors of the past identity. You are starving the biological cage. This is the hardest part of the process because it requires you to be greater than your body. You are demanding that the body, the subconscious mind, follow the consciousness of the brain rather than the other way around. If you can hold this state of non-reaction, if you can survive the void without reverting to the old, familiar chemical fix, you liberate a massive amount of energy that was previously trapped in the past self. This energy is now available for creation. It is the fuel you will use to build the new self. This leads us to the crucial final step, the construction of the new biological destiny. Step 4. The grand rehearsal, installing the future self. You cannot simply remain in the void. A vacuum must be filled. The liberated energy must be directed immediately toward the creation of the new state of being. The grand rehearsal is the intentional, elevated, and sustained act of providing your nervous system with irrefutable chemical evidence that your desired future has already happened. This is the process of generating a superior chemistry that is chemically incompatible with the residues of the old self. You must use your focused attention to generate emotions that are higher in frequency than your survival chemistry: love, gratitude, joy, and freedom. The key is to combine a clear intention with a powerful, elevated emotion. Define the future self. Do not focus on the material objects, the what. Focus on the feeling state of the person you want to become, the why. How would the healed, successful, free version of you feel right now? Elevate the emotion. Close your eyes, drop your awareness to your heart center, and start generating the elevated emotion. Find deep, profound gratitude for your past lessons or for the new life you are creating. Force your heart into coherence, smooth sine wave rhythm. This floods your system with oxytocin and serotonin. Mental rehearsal. While saturated in this superior, elevated chemistry, mentally rehearse the experiences of your new future. feel what it is like to make decisions from a state of wholeness, to receive abundance with a heart of gratitude, and to handle challenges from a place of unshakable peace. You are not visualizing the future. You are experiencing the future in the present moment. Because the nervous system cannot distinguish between a real experience and a vividly imagined experience, you are essentially installing the neurological hardware of the future self. Your brain begins to fire new, expansive neural circuits. Your body begins to receive and adapt to the new, healthy chemistry. Every successful grand rehearsal creates a powerful magnetic broadcast of coherence that attracts organized energy and opportunity. This is the final, definitive act of firing the old self. You are replacing the addiction to suffering with a new addiction to joy and gratitude. When the feeling of the new you becomes more familiar and more chemically comfortable than the feeling of the old you have successfully crossed the river of change. The process is complete when the body, having received the superior chemical proof, gives its final consent and becomes the new mind. The result is a permanent shift into a state of new biological homeostasis, a stable identity defined by your highest potential, not your past trauma. 4. The new homeostasis, sustained being and the future self. You have successfully navigated the turbulent river of change. You endured the void, step 3, and invested the liberated energy into the grand rehearsal, step 4. The final stage of transformation is the most profound, the establishment of the new biological homeostasis, which signifies the complete death of the old self and the effortless activation of the future self. The new you is not an act of willpower. It is the natural, default chemical setting of your body. The most powerful evidence that you have successfully fired the old self is the change in your chemical resting state. The constant repetition of step 4, the intentional generation of elevated emotions like joy, love, and gratitude, has done two critical things to your cellular structure. Downregulation of the past. The constant lack of cortisol and adrenaline has caused the receptor sites on your cells, which were addicted to suffering, to shrink and disappear. The body is chemically disarmed against the past. Upregulation of the future. Your cells have created a massive number of new receptor sites optimized to receive the superior chemistry, oxytocin, serotonin, endorphins. Your body is now chemically addicted to joy. The familiar state is no longer anxiety, but peace. This is the new homeostasis. Your internal environment is now defined by the frequency of your highest potential, not the frequency of your past trauma. The habit of being you has been replaced by the habit of being new. This sustained high-frequency coherence brings about 3 guaranteed results in the external world. 1. Effortless receiving and synchronicity. When your body is at peace and your heart is coherent, you are broadcasting a clean, organized, high-amplitude magnetic signal. This stable, unshakable frequency eliminates the resistance that previously blocked your creations. The universe responds to your order with organized matter, collapsing potentials into reality with ease. The synchronicity that Dr. Joe Dispenza describes, the opportunities, the people, the money showing up at the precise moment you need them, becomes the default operating system of your life. You are no longer forcing outcomes. You are an unmoving, energetic attractor, effortlessly drawing your destiny toward you. The energy you invested in the grand rehearsal now returns to you in the form of material proof. 2. Identity stability under pressure. The ultimate test of the new homeostasis is your response to external chaos. Life will inevitably present challenges, a financial setback, a moment of criticism, or a difficult person. The old self would instantly revert to the HPA axis, flooding the system with cortisol and collapsing your frequency. The new self remains stable,
The body no longer has the chemical hardware to sustain the fear or the anger. The elevated emotions you practiced in step 4 are now your automatic, immediate response to stress. You become the eye of the storm, maintaining internal peace regardless of the external turbulence. This emotional and chemical stability makes you a master of energy, proving your sovereignty over your environment once and for all.
You are living as cause, not effect. 3. Living as energy, not matter. The final liberation is the shift from living as a dense, matter-based identity, the old self, rooted in the body past, to an expansive, energy-based potential, the future self, rooted in consciousness, future. The old self only believed what it could see, feel, and predict based on past memory. It was trapped in the 5 senses. The new self operates from the understanding that consciousness is the only true reality. You trust in the unseen potential in the quantum field because you have the feeling of the future, your new homeostasis, already running in your body. You no longer need external circumstances to validate your internal state. You have transcended the physical, chemical, and emotional bondage of your past self. You are no longer the product of your environment. You are the architect of your reality. This is the completion of the 4-step protocol, a permanent chemical and energetic divorce from the person you used to be. You have successfully fired the old self. Now, your sole job is to live from the feeling of the new self every single day and witness the inevitable, effortless creation of your extraordinary future. The foundational work that details this entire protocol, the science of the chemical death of the old self and the creation of the new, is Dr. Joe Dispenza's revolutionary book, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. This is the essential manual for re-engineering your brain and body. If you are ready to move from intellectual understanding to biological change, get your copy today. The link is in the description or the first pinned comment below. You now have the exact 4-step protocol. Catch the loop, step 1. Interrupt the chemistry, step 2. Endure the void, step 3. And rehearse the future, step 4. Your personal power is defined by the length of time you can hold the elevated emotion in the face of chemical withdrawal. I want to hear from you. Which of the 4 steps do you find the most challenging? Is it the moment of truth or the grand rehearsal? Share your experience in the comments below. Let us support each other in this commitment to the new self. If this video helped you understand that true change is biological and chemical, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for choosing to be greater than your past. I'll see you in the next video.